What up, boys? How we doing tonight, boys?
Good.
What's going on?
Ooh, back here in the Lions Den.
What is going on?
Maynard here for round 2.
Let's hear the Maynard roar.
2 weeks in a row.
Oh, you had 2 fingers up that time.
Oh, he had 2 fingers up?
Fingers.
Oh,
I told
You
him.
want these fingers? I'll get these
look,
fingers.
twins.
Why is it I told him to roar and I heard a meow?
Yeah.
You know what? You want to roar?
Kibbles and bits over here.
That's all you're going to get.
Watch it. He'll be farting in that seat.
Oh, no kidding.
Why would I roar? It's just, I don't do shit on command.
Oh,
Come on, man.
Look at that boy. Look at that boy.
I'm not your puppy dog. I'm
Mike,
not your pet monkey.
Listen, you got to warn me because you're going to get me in trouble with the mic.
I'm not your
I've
pet
already
monkey.
had Freddie get in my ass about
Stop laughing at it.
laughing too loud in the mic.
Yeah, you guys get really loud.
You
You
know,
know?
seriously, stop. Oh, I almost dropped the F-bomb again.
Don't be up bombing it.
Held
in the
myself.
podcast.
Held myself.
You got to talk
Ray-
cool and collected with DJ voice. you
Yeah.
know?
Lord, give
Freddie,
me the
show him
strength.
how to do it, Freddie. Show him how to do it.
Woosah.
Woosah.
Hey, we're going to be right back. That's the best of album. You get the 2-record album set, the best of Johnny. Johnny Real.
I like that. I like that. I
And
like
Captain
Thank you.
Morgan.
that. Yeah.
And the captain.
Wait, was the F-bomb the battle? Or was
Yeah,
it
there's a
war?
battle.
When we were
Okay,
in a battle.
good. So there hasn't been an F-bomb in war yet?
No.
Right.
I'm praying because I know I've said it. I'm just praying it's not on
Yeah,
camera,
don't screw
not
up
on
this
video.
podcast like you did the last one.
Not on
Okay?
video. No, I
Gotta
don't,
sense it.
I don't screw. I know.
You don't
PC
screw?
culture.
Oh,
You heard
Yeah,
that.
I know. You don't screw. You don't screw. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Well, how old are you? You're 42 years old, married?
I'll be 43.
Yeah, you stopped screwing about 5
at the
years
end of
ago.
July. End of July, July 31st. The
So-
former baseball trade deadline. John Cena's back.
Yeah, boy. I like that little intro. That's kind
Yeah.
of nice.
I don't want
I
to go
don't hope
into
we don't
John
get
Cena
in trouble
again.
with John Cena on that one.
Yeah, don't
nah, they're freebies.
Oh, they're freebie. Oh, I like them.
don't
like
let
them
me
when
get
they're
back
free.
into John Cena. I don't want to do it.
he wants
Last
all the
week.
promotion he can get.
So Ray,
Yeah.
last week we were talking about being your brother's keeper.
Uh-huh.
You are your brother's keeper. This week, what are we talking about?
The dog in the fight.
Dog in the
There's
fight.
no like saying it. I think.
There's a saying. You want me to say?
Yeah, what is this saying?
You want some of my
Oh,
redneckinisms?
Yeah, some redneckinisms.
Some
Redneckinism.
redneckinisms?
I'm a little lost on this one. I keep screwing this one up, so I'm gonna let you handle it.
It ain't the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog.
Bow wow wow yippee oh yippee yay.
That was a chihuahua, man. Come on, you gotta be a German Shepherd, man.
Oh.
Belgian Malinois.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. I'm a lion, but if I was a dog, I'd be a wolf.
A wolf. Ooh, you going big.
I'm all about them apex predators. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Wow.
Mike over here is
Johnny,
like a
you
house.
are an apex predator.
Hey, listen.
No, you're a wolf in
Mike's
sheep's
like
clothing.
a house
He is
kitten. ain't
a
he?
wolf. He's a wolf.
Is Mike like a
in
Bichon?
sheep's clothing.
What am I? What am I?
You're like a house
Bichon?
kitten.
Bichon
I'm a house
Frise?
kitten?
Like a house
Damn.
kitten.
He's a
Meow.
Bichon for a second.
Damn.
What is that, man? What is it?
It's a cute little
That's a
fluffy
little
white dog.
good for nothing. Very expensive animal.
Oh,
He's expensive, all right.
I love you guys
Shit.
too.
I love you, man.
Oh,
I'm
man.
just going to go back to my
So-
drink.
So the dog in the fight.
The dog in
Talking
the
about
fight.
the dog in the fight this week.
Not the size of the dog.
It's a dog in the fight.
Dog.
Dog in the
fight.
fight.
Well, let's
Dog
start
in
off
the
with
fight.
this. Men, you listening to this podcast, you know that we need to be engaged in the fight, right?
Right.
Truth.
Every day.
I think that's one of the biggest problems we face in our culture today is that dudes don't realize that this is a dog fight, and you
Yep.
better bring the dog when you show up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we got too many dudes out there that just checked out instead of checked in. And
Used to be me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we were just
Be
talking
honest.
about that before we got on this podcast. That there's a transformation and there's different changes in every one of our lives, right?
Right.
And just because we were once one thing, don't mean that's what we're always going to be, right?
Exactly.
I mean, as a stepfather, I'll be speaking. I mean, when you mentioned that title, the first thing that came to truth is how many times did I just say, you know what? This is Marnie and it's like, I got to stop saying my wife's name. This is my wife and her ex-husband's son, not mine. But the more I thought about it, I was like, no, I mean, I used to do it out of respect, but it's like, no, he's my son too.
Yeah.
He's literally, I should have fought as harder than I ever should have for him because he's my son. Even it's different if the father's not in the picture.
Right.
And you're all in. And you're like, hey, dude, this is my son. But if the father's in the picture, you're like, you know what? I gotta lean back. I gotta be able to let him do his thing. Because there's a lot of people out there right now that the single moms that don't have the father in the fight. Doesn't have the father in the picture. So that's when the stepdad steps up and does what they do. I mean, that's what we're called.
Yeah, but if
to
you're
do.
a real father and you really love your kids and you're real secure in who you are as a man, you should embrace that and not push back on that. There's a big difference between somebody mistreating your children and holding your kids accountable.
Right.
You know, I mean, if I'm a father and God forbid I was ever divorced or whatever, and another man married my ex-wife, if he stepped in and was a man of integrity and had morals and you know, was going to do the right thing and hold my kids accountable, I should not only embrace that, but I should reinforce that.
Yeah, back it up.
Say, you know what, this dude here, he's stepping up, he's doing the right things, and I should encourage that and be grateful for that, because as a father, you want that influence for your kids.
Right.
You want a strong man in the house that's going to be able to step up and say, no, we're not doing that.
I mean, I've heard horror stories of stepdads beating their kids because they're not my kids. I'm just gonna beat this kid because he's not mine. He's not. I'm like, no,
I'm not laughing because
No,
it's
no,
true.
you can
That's like
laugh.
the way you said it.
That must
beat
be a
my
Maine
kids.
thing.
That must be.
That
That
must
shit
be
goes
the
on in
Maine.
Maine, huh?
maybe.
You beat my kids, you're getting your ass beat.
Yeah,
Down
exactly.
down here in the South, you ain't gotta actually do it. You
Well,
just
you know,
look at them
Well, Florida
That's
down
true.
here,
That's
in
true.
Florida,
in Florida.
you beat some of these kids down here in Florida,
Oh,
you're
man,
gonna get a beating.
I mean, I'll be honest. I've heard family members that had the stepdad that literally just beat them down.
That's not
Like-
being a man, though.
No, it's not being a man.
Well,
Like
that's not a
I
dad,
would
that's
never,
not a father.
and that's
Yeah,
why
that's
he's never.
coward.
That's why he's never once called him dad.
Yeah.
Like when he died, he never once called him dad.
Right.
So I mean, it's one of those ones that's like a family member of mine would tell me stories about how his dad, like how he would just sit up there and he would like, you know, you've seen Good Will Hunting, right?
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff that Good Will Hunting happened with Good Will Hunting, burning of cigarettes,
Yeah.
the beat down, the sitting in the corner doing nothing. Like that's exactly what his stepdad did to him.
Well, he wasn't his stepdad; he was just a guy.
Exactly, he was just a guy.
with an anger problem.
I got
Exactly.
several words, several adjectives for someone like that.
You beat some kid in front of me, see what happens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what we're talking about tonight, you make a good point. I mean, it's about having the dog in the fight. Right?
Yeah.
You need to
Yep.
be engaged. That's what we're talking about here in the podcast. Is that
Yep.
you need to be willing to fight the good fight.
Oh yeah.
And it's not only just being a stepfather. It's about being a husband. It's about being a regular dad.
Yep.
How many guys you know that are just checked out and they let their wives handle all the discipline?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
There's a lot of them. out
Many.
They don't want to deal with the kids. That's her job. I don't want to. I work. I'm the provider. I'm tired. All this other petty bullshit that guys want to throw out there because they don't want to step up and do what it is to be a man and to be a father. I mean, my wife and I were having a conversation the other day, and I said, you know, a lot of times you used to get on to me about, I just feel like you're always talking at the kids and this and that. And I said, you know, your window of opportunity with your children is so small.
Right.
And if you don't impress upon them the things that really matter, your real strong values, character, integrity, morality, expectations, and you're not taking those opportunities as a man to be teaching, mentoring, and training up your children,
Right.
you are totally missing the boat.
Yep.
And you definitely do not have a dog in the fight.
Truth.
Right.
And then when you look around, go ahead, Ray, you going to say something?
You got to do it early. You got to do it young
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to start. If you're not going to teach them how to, someone's going to teach them how not to.
Well,
Good
somebody going
point,
to
Ray.
teach them.
Oh yeah.
You're right. You're right, Freddie.
Good point,
You're
Ray.
right. I mean, somebody going to show them.
Yep.
Somebody going to show you kids, and it's going to be the wrong person.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. One of my favorite artists of all times is Garth Brooks. A little shout out to Garth. Love you, man. Thanks for the great music. But you know, no shameless plug there. Just like Garth. But anyway, but he had made a comment.
Got
when
friends
he-
in low places.
yeah, when he stepped away from the music business, he said that he stepped away for his kids. And one of the things in watching his documentary that really touched me, he said that I remember one time my kids, when they were talking, they said both.
Mm.
He said, I thought to myself, my wife and I both say both. We don't say both. Where's this both coming from? And he realized that the nanny said both.
Mm.
And in that moment, he said he
Ooh.
realized that somebody else was raising his kids. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so he had to make a conscious decision. No, I need to get the dog in the fight.
Yep.
That's good.
And some of you guys that are listening to this right now, you need to get engaged, because if it's not a teacher, if it's not a coach, if it's not a social media, somebody is training up your children
Right.
with their ideals and their visions and their agenda. And if you're not vested and you're not involved and you don't have a dog in that fight, somebody else is going to be raising your kids.
Yep.
And they're going to be creating to be the people, quite honestly, that maybe you are totally against.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
could be.
I get the youngest kids here. I mean, like John says it all the time. He's like, dude, I don't envy you. He's like, yeah, I got a 6-year-old all the way up to a 20-year-old. So it's,
and if you're not engaged, right?
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing is back in the day, years ago, I was not engaged.
Right.
Now I'm more engaged. I really do.
And you're
think,
fighting your ass off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm fighting my ass off
It's a
every
bigger
day.
fight.
Yeah,
It is, and I'm fighting every day the enemy. I'm fighting every day. I mean, as Christians, I'll speak to the enemy side of it. I really do think we're being attacked, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're being attacked by 5 different angles. You got to keep, like John says it best, is like you got to fight. The biggest fight is the 4 walls of your home.
Yeah.
You got to stay engaged.
Yeah.
And the men that are listening to this, I mean, you better wake up, because you'll fight your wife and your kids more than you'll fight anybody else. And you'll be fighting for them against them. And that's the strange things. And,
Right.
and it's not that listen, don't take what I'm saying out of context. I'm not saying your wife is bad, your kids are bad, but their influence for the world. The world is coming after women and children.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it's been that way since the beginning of time. And if the only thing that stands between them and the world is a good man.
Yep.
Right? A good man. Not a nice guy, but a good man.
Exactly.
Because a good man's going to do whatever the hell it takes to make sure, come hell or high water, you're not taking my wife, and you
Right.
sure in the hell ain't taking my kids.
Yep.
And we got a lot of guys out there right now, and some of you may be listening to this podcast right now, and you can hear the tone of my voice is going up. You better get engaged in the fight.
Yep.
Get up off your ass and quit making excuses, because the world is coming after your wife and children.
Amen.
And those guys that are sitting out there and you go, well, I don't have a wife. They're coming after your girlfriend too, bro.
Yep.
Yep.
The influences of
And your
social
future-
media
and your future
your
kids.
future children. Yes, good point, Mike. They're coming after
Not just that, they're coming after you.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Ray.
If you're gonna sit
Preach it,
back,
brother.
if
Preach it.
you're gonna sit back there all idle and everything, you're gonna get consumed. You're gonna get eat up from the inside. You're not even gonna know it. One day you're gonna look back and go, "How the hell did I get here?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you fight in a battle that you don't even acknowledge exists?
Right. That's true. You
Well,
can't.
If you're checked, if you're checked out and you don't even think that this is happening,
Right.
you're not engaged.
Oh, we're just blowing it out of proportions.
That's
what
a
we're
subject
doing.
we
Yeah.
could
That's-
talk days about.
Yeah, that's a
Johnny.
whole nother
We're
We're
podcast.
conspiracy theorists. We're
That's
going
right.
way crazy on this
Oh,
shit.
no,
Yeah,
we're,
wake up.
what are they?
Well,
What
that's
are
the
they
status of our world
Boom.
right now. And just
I mean, what's the name of our podcast? War. Are
Yeah.
we ready? That's
Yeah.
the pretty much the name of it. And like John brought up last week about our men's group, the name of the men's group is War. Are we ready? We
Yeah.
talk about all the different things that are attacking our families, attacking us. So I mean, that's what this is all about. Like
And
we're
we got
in a war.
guys. We got guys that I'm going to be straight with you. I mean, they're just not engaged.
Yeah.
They either got their thumbs up their asses or their heads in the sand, one or the other.
Yeah. And we're not
And-
talking. Sorry, we're not talking physically.
No.
We're
Yeah.
talking a mental war for the believers out there like us, a spiritual battle. There's things that are constantly out there to change the way you think. They want you to be sheep and follow the masses.
Mhm.
The greater good.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
not on my
Basically,
watch.
we're the greater and we're the good. Do what we say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not us. It's, well, I don't want to get all
No,
conspiracy
no, no, no,
theories,
no, no,
crap
no.
like that. You
Well,
know what
I
I mean?
mean-
It's media. It's entertainment. It's political. All of that.
Dude.
It's all. They're trying to create sheep and just want everybody to follow for the greater good.
So Ray, I'm glad you bring up conspiracy theory because it's not conspiracy theories anymore. It's called spoiler alerts.
Yeah, true.
That's
right?
exactly what's going on. I mean, all the times, like I talk to my wife all the time about this. I'm like, I was never a big conspiracy theorist, but I'm like, right now, honestly, it is literally all the stuff that I've been wondering about is so true.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go down all the list of all the stuff you see in the article. I mean, I try to stay away from as much as I can, and it's hard because it really does. I mean, I really want to know what's going on in the world and try to be able to tell my kids because I'm at that age where I need to be able to know, tell my kids what's going on.
Yeah.
And like I can't just hide in put my face in this, put my head in the sand and say, nope, not happening to me. My kids are good.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Everything's good. No, it's not.
Nope.
Because that's what's going on in the world right now is I need to know and be able to tell my kids, hey, you know what? These companies, we're not going to put money into them anymore.
Well, the bottom line is, even though they push back and they go, well, Dad's over the top, but at least they know what Dad stands for.
Exactly.
It's like you go into my house and you can go in my house tonight and ask my kids and my wife, does your husband eat Taco Bell? They're going to say no. Did your husband shop at Target? They're going to say no. Did your husband buy anything from an Anheuser-Busch? The answer is no.
Does he watch anything with ESPN with Tom Brady in it? No.
Does he watch Disney Plus? No. Will he pay to go see a Disney movie? No.
Yep.
Why? Because I can't afford to, as a man, talk out both sides of my mouth.
Right.
If I tell my family that this is bullshit and then I go and do it, I'm full of shit.
Yep.
And we got to be careful as men. We've got to stay engaged. We've got to have a dog in the fight.
Why, John? I'm glad you're bringing it up because you remember you said, "Let's go see Indiana Jones." I'm like, "What did I?" And then what did I tell you? It's a Disney movie. Disney bought it.
And what did I tell you?
Ain't gonna go see it.
Yep.
And then what'd you go see? Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not promoting anything like that. I have not seen it because I haven't had a chance to see it with my wife. I want to make sure to prioritize.
I've seen it.
I know. I was gonna go see it with John, but I was like, no, I'm gonna go see it with my wife.
If you want to watch a movie, going to have you.
Yeah,
if you're a real
dude,
man pissed
dude.
off in the first
Yeah.
2 minutes, and for the
Go
rest of the
see
movie,
that.
go see it.
Yeah,
because
go
I'm going to
see
tell you
that.
what, it brings to light the world that
Yeah.
we're living in.
Speaking of dog in the fight, I mean, I heard some horror story today that there was some girl at the border who came there, and they did a rape test on her. 89 different DNA on her. 89 different DNA. I heard that today when I was trying to work, and I was like, I can't work anymore.
Well, how are you? If you don't think the enemy's alive and well in this world, and he's not moving and he's not progressing, how do you lose 80,000 children and not know where they're at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the two things that the enemy hates the most is women and children.
Yep.
And if you don't believe me, you can look at the beginning of time, because women have constantly been under attack and kids have been constantly under attack.
Yep.
I mean, the world nothing's changed.
No.
You know, there's a verse in the Bible, Ecclesiastes, that says nothing's new under the sun.
Nope.
It's just becoming more pronounced because of all the media that we have, all
we get
the,
to see
all the phones and everything.
What's good is good. What's good is bad. What's bad is good.
Yep.
But if you're not
Isaiah.
engaged and you're not a man that's looking at what's going on, or you don't live by your convictions,
Not gonna
and
see.
you make bullshit excuses because you want to make concessions because you don't want to piss mom off or the kids off, let me tell you something. You're hurting your family.
Yep.
Because the one things you never want to hear from your kids is, well, Dad, you do it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Dad, you say this and you do that. Dad, you don't. You say you're not about this, but you do this. Not gonna. What really kind of warmed my heart, honestly, is the whole Target thing. I really wasn't privy to it. I didn't really know what was going on, and I'd come home and my daughter had said, "Guess we're not shopping at Target anymore." And I said, "What are you talking about?" Because Candy, my wife loves Target, right? Not for the food shop, but she likes to go over there and look around and stuff. And me too, just being honest. And my daughter's like, "Yeah, I guess we're not shopping at Target anymore." I go, "Why? Why aren't we shopping at Target?" And she said, "You haven't seen it?" I said, "No, what's going on?" And she told me, "Oh, shit, yeah. They ain't getting my money. That ain't happening." She goes, "I know. I do, Dad. As soon as I was going to tell you that the first thing you were going to say is we don't shop at Target anymore." And she goes, "You know what? But you know what it told me? As a man, it told me that what I'm doing and what I'm standing for isn't in vain, because my daughter knew right off the rip where her father stood on that.
Yep.
And that she knew that Dad's not doing this. And then what really touched me is she's like, I don't shop at Target anymore either.
It's good.
Oh,
You know?
wow.
And I didn't have to tell her.
No.
Right.
She told me. And so at the end of the day, it's like, you got to, and I really truly believe it's because I'm convicted with what I say. If I say I'm not going to do this, I don't do it.
Right.
Because I understand the value and the importance of having that dog in the fight. If I don't stand by what I say, then what I say is trash.
True.
It's meaningless, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not convicted in my beliefs, it's garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's biblical.
I'm not going to spend my money.
James.
That goes for all the guys in this podcast. You guys know me, know me for a long time. What kind of a man would I be if I told you guys I'm not about this, and then next week you see me over there drinking a Bud Light?
Yep.
You guys are going to call my ass to the carpet. Dude, you were just talking about this. You're drinking Bud Light? What the hell's the matter with you?
That's what we do, because we all got a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
man.
gonna say, we
They
used
make Corona. That was.
I was gonna say
that was
we
hard.
used to drink Corona here. We ain't drink Corona since.
Yeah.
Anheuser-Busch, piss
Hell
on
no.
you. We don't play that we don't play that at the War
I'm going
Podcast.
Yingling. I think Yingling.
Yeah, we you know.
Boys are boys and girls are girls, and God don't make mistakes. I just put that out there.
Well, there's a saying that if you don't raise your kids, you'll end up raising your grandkids.
Oh,
that's good.
And that's the whole thing is if you're not standing up for your kids and fighting for your kids and doing what you know to be true, you're going to end up raising them and your grandkids.
Yep, that's good.
Because that message like you said, it was great to hear your daughter mention that the same thing, the same convictions that you have.
Yep.
If you don't instill those convictions, somebody's going to instill something else. And then who knows where it goes.
And where would that conviction go?
Right.
If I didn't stand by it.
Oh, it'd go nowhere.
If I falter as a father, if I falter and I go to Target, what have I just done?
Right. You just pissed on that conviction.
Yeah.
Now I've ruined everything. If I tell them that, if I'm drinking Bud Light at the house, if I'm eating Taco Bell, all these things that I'm against, if I'm watching on Disney Plus and watching The Mandalorian. And let me tell you something. There's some shows that I hear about that I would like to watch.
I stopped watching it.
Yeah, the Mando was cool.
I stopped watching it.
But for me personally, and listen, and this is what I told my wife, because my wife and I were talking about this, and I said, you know what? I can't hold you to the same convictions that I have.
Right.
You've got to make your own decisions.
Yep.
You just need to understand. Like we had some friends that came into town. They flew in. They went to Disney, and she said to me, she says, "Well, they're going to go to Disney." She goes, I can get us a free ticket to get in. Are you wanting to go?" And I said, "No. You know where I stand on Disney." And she goes, "I figured as much." She goes, and my wife said to me, "Do you have a problem with me going?" And and I said, "Listen, I'm convicted. I'm not going to Disney.
Right.
Just because I feel that way doesn't mean you have to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It has to be a conviction." And we've talked about this in this podcast before,
Yeah.
Ray. You and I have had conversations about certain things, and you're like, "I don't look at it this way. I don't look at it that way." So, but I've always said it's about personal conviction.
Exactly.
If you're convicted, I'm not going to hold you to my convictions.
Right.
But if you're going to talk out both sides of your mouth, I'm going to hold you to yours.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
true.
If you're going to tell me that you're about it, and then and
Not be about it.
not be about it, I'm going to be the first one to tell you.
It's like I said it time and time again. Actions are proof why words mean nothing.
Truth.
You can talk, but if you're not willing to walk it, means absolutely nothing. And your kids pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Your kids will pick up on
Your
that.
spouse will pick up on it too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We joke around a lot. We were talking the other day about, Mike and I were talking about budgets, right? One of the things I told him, I said, hey, you can't talk out both sides of your mouth.
Yeah,
you can't say you got to have a budget and then you're spending money.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Because once you do that, you're going to lose it.
Yep.
Oh, it's the
Guilty.
whole term of it's not a money problem, it's a spending problem.
And you got that from who?
I got that from you.
No, you got it from You got it from
No, I got it from
Ray
Ray.
all day.
It was Ray. It was from Ray.
Ray.
I was going down the list. I'm like
day.
thinking to myself,
Yep.
and all of a sudden I say it to my wife, and then something I ordered 2 months ago finally shows up. I'm like, and all of a sudden my wife's like, with my oldest daughter, saying, "It's not a money problem, it's a spending problem." I'm like,
Sucks when it's thrown back at you, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but it's true. It's 100% true, and
That's it.
I need to curb, we talk about this all the time, right? When you and I talk about when we're driving back from my house and stuff, it's like it may not seem like the big things, but it's the little things
That
that add up.
Oh yeah.
So you got to pay attention to little things like
And that's everything in life.
Going to dinner, going to Chipotle, going to all these different little things that you normally
not
do.
just that.
Yeah.
A movie for the kids,
Yep.
a shirt for the kids.
Yeah,
They
adds
don't
up.
need it, but it's cute, so I'm gonna get it.
Exactly.
And like I told you, every 3 months,
Yeah.
we didn't have our mortgage payment. We were
Uh-huh.
pulling our mortgage payment out of savings
Yeah,
because of $20 movie here,
Yeah.
$10 pair of shoes there, $10 shirt here.
That's kind of what I'm doing now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's truly what it is. But it takes conviction to stand up
Mhm.
and do it. And like you said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if you're going to talk to your significant other and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
we got to do this, and this is all we can do," but then you do
Yeah.
the opposite,
Yeah.
you've just lost all credibility and should be like, "Yeah, nope, not gonna happen."
Yeah, but Ray, another Bible just came in. I gotta get the chronological
You
Bible.
can justify
Come on.
anything, right?
Can
Right.
justify.
Yeah,
Well, it's just like you think about it. Like take a diet, for instance.
yeah, yeah.
People cannot wait to see you falter on your diet.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
They're going to let you know, hey, I thought you was on a diet. Why are you eating that? Why are you doing
Yeah.
this? Why are you doing that? Now they're not following the diet. They're not working out. They're not doing anything, but they're sure in hell going to let you know that you're not doing it right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's another thing too, with spending and with dieting and all that stuff. Having the dog in the fight, right? Like you can talk like you got that dog in that fight, but it's integrity. It takes integrity because what you're doing when nobody's around. If you're eating freaking Twix and candy bars and crap like that, but in front of everybody else, you're eating salads.
Chili cheese fries.
What kind of dog do you really have in that fight?
Well, that's
A hot
really
dog.
fine.
You got a 2-headed dog.
Yeah.
One with a head out its ass and
Maybe
one
a
with a head out the
sausage.
front.
Maybe a sausage dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Speaking
that,
out of both sides
Damn
of
you,
your mouth.
Freddy.
yeah.
Double-minded.
But that's
Biblical.
Sauerkraut.
but that's all part of it too. Is you know if you're gonna have a dog in the fight, you're gonna have to you got to have
Yeah.
integrity.
That's good.
You know, everybody leaves the house. You know, if you pop on Disney Plus, nobody else knows. That's not integrity. That's
Yeah.
lying.
Exactly.
Well, you're lying. The only person you're lying to is yourself.
Right. It's like masturbating.
Yep. You're damn right. I'm glad you're damn right.
You know, it's like cheating and solitaire.
Yeah.
You know, they're both the same. Masturbating, cheating, and solitaire.
Oh man, what's funny?
You're cheating.
Yeah.
Well,
So since you're giving up
Go ahead.
Disney Plus, then
Yes.
hop on over to our YouTube channel
yes,
and
there you go. Fred.
like us and follow us on War Are We Ready podcast on YouTube. We're growing some traction over there.
Yeah.
If you like us what you hear on Spotify, then head on over there and give us a like and a follow and ring that bell.
Yeah.
And I'm
For
going to tell you,
notifications.
we're much better looking on the
Yes,
podcast
yes.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
radio than we
So
are
for-
in person. So
So, Fritz, I just want to add to that too because we're going to start to add some of our like final clips with John, like ending how he ends our podcast on our social media. We got to get better at that, and I'll
The
be the first
JD
to say-
Reels.
I'll be the first to say, you know, that I'll take the blame on that one. So we need to get out
good
there.
because
So
we're going
Okay.
to blame you anyway.
But I'm used to it. I'm used to getting blamed.
Sounds good.
I'm used to getting blamed, but I'm just saying we're gonna get that out there in social media. We're gonna build a social media presence because it's been some time, and we need to get it out there.
Good content.
Well,
Hey, hang on.
Well, go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
I think Captain's talking again.
Yeah, no kid. Captain's not here tonight, but he here tonight.
Captain.
Oh, El Capitan is here.
Capitan is living live in the Maino.
Oh man.
But here's the bottom line, and I want our listeners to understand this. Everything
Hold
that
this
we
to me.
do is for you.
Yeah.
This whole podcast,
Yeah.
the YouTube, all these platforms that we're on, this is all for you. This isn't for us.
No.
We're not making a dime off of this. We're not getting anything out of this deal other than
No,
knowing
it's
that-
costing us some money.
yeah, it's costing us
Yeah.
money.
It costs us money.
We're doing this because we want to help dudes, man. That's what we're
We
about.
do. We do. We really, really do.
So
That's awesome.
But you got to have a dog in the fight.
You do.
You got to get involved. You got to start listening. Perfect example. If you're a guy out there, maybe you don't have relationships like you should, right? Last week we talked about being your brother's keeper, and some
Yeah.
people, some guys, we recognize that they're on islands.
Mm-hmm.
Jump on our island, man. I mean,
Yeah.
this ain't Fantasy Island. I mean,
No, but we'd love to have you.
we'd love to have you. And
Hit us
if
up.
you need some people that are going to speak something into you that's going to help you be a better man, come on,
Yeah.
come on.
Are We Ready
here.
Podcast
So-
LLC.
There you go.
at
So
gmail.com.
I'm glad you bring it up, John, because I'm thinking about myself. I'm like, I know we do it for all the guys, but honestly, right now, Mikey, I'm doing it for you, bro. Like, I pray that someday when you're older, that you can hear us talking in the battle. That was our Forever podcast, as well as war, and be able to hear this because this is your dad. This is your dad speaking right now, probably on camera. Hopefully, it stays on YouTube that long.
Not too long.
Not too long.
On you anyway. Moving over
Yeah,
to Ray. He's
Exactly.
better looking than the rest of
Yeah,
us.
it's true. It's a good point.
Camera just went off.
but yeah,
Sorry,
no.
bro.
Yeah, no. Darn it,
Oh,
Fred.
serious.
Sucks. All right, I tried
Stays on
to
30
speak to my
minutes.
son, and I can't. No, it's
That
fine.
was a tender moment, too.
That was a tender
really
moment.
tender.
really sorry.
Probably not even going to be on camera now.
Well,
And I
it's
feel-
not. I'd shut off.
Sucks. So all right, whatever. John, go do your shit.
How do I
Save that
follow
for next week,
How do
bro.
I follow that? Wow, that's good. But
I told you I hated that camera.
anyway, I don't know. I just think, as I sit here and I think about what we've been talking about tonight, and I think about so many guys out there that are so lost. I know you're trying your best. I know you want to be the best version of yourself, but you got to get a dog in the fight, man. I mean, you cannot sit on the sidelines and expect to make some kind of an impact. You can't talk out both sides of your mouth, man. That double talk is going to get you absolutely nowhere. Your children, your wife, your girlfriend, your family, your friends, everybody's watching. They're wondering, what are you going to do? Here's this guy, he says he stands for this, and he says he stands for that, and he's against this, and he's against that. And yet I see him over here doing this, this, and that. There's just certain things we can't compromise on. We can't compromise on the things that are going to negatively impact our families. We can't sit idle and look at somebody else to step up and do what we've been called to do as men. If you're a father and you're listening to this podcast right now, step up. If you're a husband listening to this podcast right now, step up. If you're a man listening to this podcast right now, it's time to step up, to get up, and to man up. Because that, my friends, well, hell, that's where the rubber meets the road.